listening to the Bible in chronological order. I'm now in Romans, and I'm listening to the NLT version. Before I was listening to the NIV version. Two different voices that makes scripture sound different. The first voice was like an older white man who sounded kind of arrogant, but also like, and now I'm listening to a black guy. He's like, and this and that, and this and that. But I'm listening to Romans, and it seems like Paul has like this preoccupation with sin. And I was wondering, I said, I wonder if this letter was more for him than for the Romans. Because from what I remember in my studies, like 10, 12, 13 years ago, I don't think they said that Romans was like Paul's last will and testament, so he kind of like jammed everything in there. And like, was it to a particular house in like Rome? At any rate, like as I'm listening to it, I'm like, bro, you were just like sin, 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 sin. And I'm like, it felt like I was listening and I was like, oh my gosh, like Romans 1, 2, 3, I was like, that was that heat. And he was like, everybody's getting it. But then as we kept going on, it seemed like Paul was writing from himself, to himself. You know how people are struggling with something and they have to be really hard on themselves to stop themselves from doing stuff. So when they talk to other people, they're just as hard on them as they are on themselves. That's what it felt and sounded like. And I was just like, I don't like this. And then I was like, oh, well, I can see why a lot of Christian churches, especially evangelical and Protestant churches, have such a hyper focus on sin, because everyone's like obsessed with Paul. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. And I was like, and no wonder it feels like condemnation all the time. Like Jesus was like, this is a sin, I love you, sin no more, let's move on. Let's focus on God. Let's focus on the kingdom. Let's focus on healing. Let's move forward. Let's not get so hyper focused on this thing. Now, mind you, he was talking to Jews. Paul is talking to the Gentiles, so their practices is very different, and they're entrenched in it. So I can understand if that's like the thing or the reason why, but I don't know. I'm gonna keep listening though.